Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. I've got a pretty cool interview today with my friend Caden Jara. He's 21 years old, making around $20,000 a month. We'll go into how he made $22,000 last month and how you can get started as well. But it is a really interesting interview. There's tons of value. So grab a snack, stay till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. All right, we're going. All right, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I've got my friend Caden Jara on a call here. So Caden, just to start it off, just kind of as an intro, tell the people a little bit about you, a little bit about what you do, how old you are, because looking into what you do and how old you are, I noticed how young you were and how impressive it is to be where you are at your age. So I'm going to kind of hand over the floor to you.
Dude, heck yeah. I appreciate you having me on, too. But yeah, I'm 21 years old. I'm from Peoria, Arizona. If you guys know where that is, it's like 30 minutes outside of Phoenix. I do something called high ticket sales, which is essentially where you are a salesperson for somebody with a high ticket product that's delivered digitally. So that can be a program, a course, a mastermind, a service. I know you run an agency and stuff like that. So, you can close for people like you as well. It's awesome, man. Been doing it for 4 years now. I'm 21 years old. So been doing it since I was 17 and I love it, bro.
Awesome. Sweet. So as a 21-year-old, are you in college right now, or did you go to college, or what's that story like?
Yeah, so I went to college first 2 years. I went to Arizona State, and I would be a senior this year, but I left after my sophomore year, partially because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go anymore, but also because I just unfortunately didn't take things too seriously. Looking back on it, I wish I would have finished just because it would have been cool to get the degree, but I didn't take it seriously. I just went all in on this. So I left about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Cool. Yeah, I don't blame you. I actually graduated this past May, and I'll tell you, I started, like I was telling you before the call, but I started my agency back in January, and as I'm scaling it up, I'm in these accounting classes, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what am I doing here? But the second semester was totally I've come this far, might as well finish it out. But I totally get it. Have you got any? Arizona State's a party school, man. Have you got any crazy college stories or anything like that?
Dude, I wasn't a huge partier. I went out with my friends occasionally and stuff like that, but I didn't do a lot of the frat scene and stuff like that. So kept it pretty low key, man. Honestly, and props to you for graduating too, bro. I don't care what anybody says. Graduating college is a very difficult thing to do. So definitely. Props to you, man. That's huge.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. It was, like I said, it was tough, but I think it was a lot of the pressure induced by the parents too. It's go to college because they never went, so it's you go, you finish it.
Sure.
When you made the decision to drop out of college, what was that like? Was that scary? Was there kind of a parental pressure to finish college, or what was that like?
Yeah, so leading up to it, man, I wanted to so bad. The entire time that I was in college, I wanted to so bad. I had an income goal that I wanted to hit multiple times in a row before I could comfortably do that. So leading up to it, man, I was so ready. But then you do it, and then all of a sudden all your friends are going to classes the next semester and stuff like that. You're not making your schedule or anything like that. I still lived near campus, so you could see everybody walking to class and stuff like that. So once it sets in after you do it, or once it set in after I did it, I was kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, whoa, okay, this is kind of sink or swim time.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I think it takes a lot of guts. I know a lot of people that think about it and will think about it for years, and then before they know it, they're like, all right, well, I wasted the past 2 years of my life when I could have been chasing something that I wanted. But that's super cool, man. Props to you for taking that leap, and it seems like it's worked out pretty well. So I think you answered my next question earlier, but how long have you been in high ticket sales, and can you kind of talk to me a little bit about what the process of starting was like, and just kind of your first glimpse of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, dude. So I say I've been doing it for 4 years. It's really been 3 years and 10 months. So we're approaching 4 years. 4 years just sounds a little cooler. But basically, dude, I started I guess to backtrack to the start. I was 16, 17 when I found the whole online business thing. And of course I found dropshipping. I feel like that's how everybody kind of finds this space. I went to high school with a huge dropshipper, a guy that pretty much everybody knows, Sebastian Georgiou. I went to high school with him, dude. Cool. And yeah, I used to work at this pizza restaurant, and he pulled up in a GTR 6 months after he graduated, which is a $100,000 car. And I was like, dude, what is he doing? So, I researched him, found his YouTube channel, went down the whole dropshipping rabbit hole, but I had $0, legit. I did not have $1 to spare for for drop shipping, just because I was bad with my money at the time. Paychecks went to food and clothes and stuff like that. So I had to get in the service-based industry instead, where it's basically free to start up. You just go offer your services to companies and they pay you for them. So dude, I was trying to reach out to people offering those services for like 6 months before I ever even got a nibble on the bait. It was awful. I was telling people I would run their Facebook ads, write their emails, be their personal assistant. Dude, it was bad. Like, looking back at it, it's so embarrassing. And then one day, it's February, I think it was like February 5th, 2019. I had somebody reach out and he was like, hey bro, I don't need any of those, but like, do you do sales? And dude, I was so desperate. I was like, absolutely, I do sales. And so he called me right then and there and basically just closed himself on me. And so we got started, and that's essentially what kickstarted. And then we ended up, doing about $1.5 million together in the span of about 18 months.
Wow.
So
wow,
it was really cool.
Crazy. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Especially for something that it's like, yeah, you do sales, and you're like, yeah, but you definitely had no background in that, sounds like. But that's pretty cool that it worked out like that.
Yeah.
Right around where you are right now and in the stage of life that you're at now, you've had that couple of years, right, to build yourself up. If you're comfortable talking about it, what, can you speak a little bit about how much you've made in that time span, or what a month-to-month basis looks like for you right now in the current state that you're in?
Dude, absolutely. So right now I'm selling part-time, but I'm in a fortunate position enough to where I do have a lot of experience. So, companies, when they reach out to me, they're okay with me just wanting to work part-time at the moment. I'm building some other things on the side. So, I kind of see it as like in the next year, I might transition out of closing fully or just keep it at a part-time level. This month, or I guess last month, November, we're on December 1st now, I had about a $22,000 a month in commissions.
Wow.
So that's like net income, no expenses, nothing like that. It was a great month, and I'm very, very grateful to have done that. But again, like, I don't want anybody watching this to think that that's like regular. That has just happened because I've worked so hard on the scale for the past few years, and I've sold a lot of volume now to where companies allow me to work part-time for them. It's actually a unique situation too. I have 2 companies that I'm currently closing for, but they're both on a part-time basis. They're both like 1 to 2 sales calls a day that I take. So I average anywhere from 2 to 4 sales calls a day, and then I make anywhere from $700 to $750 a sale that I'm able to make, and I close at a pretty solid rate for both of those companies. So it's an awesome situation right now, but it's not necessarily regular. Usually you do like full-time work in this space or close to it,
Definitely. Yeah, congrats, first of all. Huge month. That's awesome.
Thank you, man.
You talked a little bit about some things that you're building on the side. Are you comfortable sharing kind of like a glimpse into that, or is this under wraps?
Yeah, dude, no, it's totally fine. My partner Trey, actually, I took him on as a consulting student, like way back in like July of 2021. I didn't normally do that. Like, I don't like being the guy that like makes his money from coaching primarily, that's always kind of twisted me the wrong way. Yeah. But dude, this guy was just like so adamant. He was like, dude, just like, let's hop on a call. Let me just tell you about myself. Let's just see if it's a good fit. If you have the time, I can pay you whatever you need. So hopped on a call, and what do you know? He ended up coming on. So he paid me a little chunk of change to teach him just what I know and crushed it. Part of it was me, but a lot of it was him. He's genuinely like one of the best people I know. Like, he's my freaking brother, and he works so hard, dude. Harder than anybody I've really ever met. It's insane. So he found success very, very quickly. And dude, he, like, what I made this month, he has made like quadruple that in a month before. Like, that's how insane he has taken off. It's ridiculous. And he has his pay stubs to prove it. So if anybody wants to say that that's not like the case, he has proven it many, many times. But he kills it, man. So him and we have essentially partnered, and we created a community that helps people who are like wanting to get into sales but don't want to necessarily go spend thousands on like a program yet. They kind of just want to like dip a toe in, see if it's for them. We've created like a very cheap community for them to be able to do that. So that's kind of what we're building now, and that's really fun, to be able to like teach what I know. That's been super, super fun. So it's not making tons of money yet or anything like that, but it's a fun thing to be building on the side for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that's super cool. I think, like you said, coaching as like a main source of income can kind of be seen in a weird light. I definitely agree. Yeah. I run a consulting business on the side for people to watch my videos, like, shameless plug. But I do those little 1-hour calls and just talk about social media marketing, like some good strategies that I'm using, in email marketing, paid ads, social media, and things like that. But it is definitely fun to see the growth in other people based off the knowledge that you're giving them, right? The info that you've learned, because it kind of, in a way, is like, yeah, I worked so hard to share this knowledge. I read a tweet one time that was like, you get rich by providing a service and making a lot of money doing that. You get richer emotionally and like morally when you teach people how to do what you just did. And like that's so true, because, you know, essentially what are we here for if we're not telling other people how they can get out of whatever situation they're in and get to where they need to be financially in life. So that's pretty
Dude,
cool.
100%, man. Yeah. One thing that I have a hard time with is I'm not I've been in a fortunate enough position to like see the rise and the downfall of a lot of people in our online space because they just did things completely unethically. So I always told myself, like, if I'm ever going to drop something on my own, I want to make sure like it is one of the best, if not the best things in the entire market. So I always held back. I was always like, you know, gun shy because I wanted it to be so good. So I hit a point where I was just like, you know what? I feel like I'm there. Like, I'm not like Jordan Belfort level yet. Do you know what I mean? But
right.
I feel like I do well enough now and I close at a high enough rate. And I've been doing this for long enough to where like I can confidently bring people into the space and show them exactly how to succeed. So it was a long time coming for sure, but I was very hesitant on it. Cause again, like I used to take a lot of pride in like 100% of my income coming from closing. Now it's like 90. So
yeah, awesome. I think that's the way to go. I mean, you'll see that the companies and businesses started from a moral standpoint of trying to make money will 9 times out of 10 fail, and the ones that are just trying to do good in the world are the ones that prevail. So I think that's super cool that you're building that. How many active members do you have at the moment?
Yeah, we have about 173, I think, at the moment. I guess excluding me and my partner, 171.
And is that run through Discord, or how does that community kind of work?
Discord, exactly. Discord, and then there's like, we have it sectioned off to where there's like different chats, and then there's also videos to watch too, such as like my sales call process, how I handle every single sales call that I'm on. You know, there's a outreach section where they can learn how to go out and land their own sales opportunities. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. It's definitely not rocket science. Like it's pretty simple stuff, but it helps people get into it and then follow like a process they can be confident in, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think that's super valuable. If you guys are interested, check him out for sure. But what is, if you were to talk to somebody without giving, you know, too much of a glimpse into what you're charging people and what your essentially program is built around, what would you give on a basis level for someone that's trying to get into high ticket closing in 2022, you know, obviously coming into 2023, what's something, if you could share just, you know, from your experience, you would tell somebody right now starting to get into it?
Yeah, dude, you don't even need like courses really. You know, like I got into it without a course. Given it took a lot longer for me to find like really, really good success, I had to learn just through a lot of mistakes. I have a very embarrassing story on a sales call about, I used a Wolf of Wall Street quote on a sales call and the prospect called me out for it, dude. So I had like embarrassing things like that, but I was self-taught technically. So you don't really need programs. If you're super good at like just going ham and finding all the information you can, doing all the Google searches and like putting everything together. So yeah, you really don't even need it. Like, and if you can't afford a program like that, just, I mean, honestly, you can go skim through YouTube. There's people like Jeremy Miner out there, Jordan Belfort out there. There's tons of good sales guys that you can go watch. Alex Hormozy's another one. And you can just watch those guys, you know, and then you can reach out to people on Instagram that you find have these high ticket products or you think that do. Now my group, what it kind of goes over is people who have a hard time putting together that information. So, you know, we just help them get right to the point. We teach them how we do our sales process, how we take sales calls, how we, you know, get prospects to say yes at the end of the call. And we also show them how to go find influencers and a lot of them to go sell for, or companies to sell for too. So yeah, I guess to sum it all up and avoid the long tangent, they don't need a program like mine, honestly. But if they want some more efficiency, then, you know, I would definitely recommend they join something like it, whether that's mine or somebody else's, to help them out a little bit.
Yeah, I think you alone are a good testimony to your program, right? You're 21 years old, you get a $22,000 month last month. You know, there's no reason why people shouldn't be taking your advice. I think that's 100% reasonable. My next question is, when you dropped out of college and you decided, I'm going to do closing full time for right now, what are some traits that you would say have aided you in your entrepreneurial slash freelancer journey that that you think stand out? Because I think that one that stands out for a lot of successful people is consistency. Many people in all kind of aspects of business, right? But especially when starting your own business, if they go hard for a month and don't see results, they quit. 9 times out of 10, people quit. The ones that stick around, like you, that have did it for 6 months essentially with no clients, to see where you are now, it's shown that consistency is key. But what is a good trait that you have that you would say sticks out from a lot of people that try to get into the space?
Dude, 100%. So this is going to sound so cliche too, but it's like, it's 2 things: consistency and discipline. And not like, Navy SEAL mode discipline, but just like the discipline to like wake up every day and regardless of how you feel, like do what you need to do. I was very fortunate. Like I was in a situation when I first got started with this where like I needed to make this work. It was either like make this work, go and pay my way through school so I can like go to Tempe, ASU, and like be with all my friends and like kind of get out of where I was from. I lived in an awesome place, but like I kind of just wanted to get out of there. It was a little secluded. So it was either where like I need to figure out a way where I can do that and I can like move somewhere else and like grow as an individual, or I'm going to have to continue working the job I was working at the time and like, go to maybe like a local community college or not go to school at all and just like, hope something falls in my lap. So I kind of had my back up against the wall from the start. And, I built that consistency and that discipline when getting into this before I ever made money. So it's cool because I did it for 6 months while making $0. So as soon as I started making money, it was just easy. I woke up every day and instead of being like, okay, I need to find an opportunity to make money. Instead, it was like, I have the opportunity to make money. I could literally just go take sales calls today. I could go book myself sales calls and take those sales calls and make like a few hundred to maybe $1,000 that day. And that was just like, dude, that was the coolest feeling of all time. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I built that consistency before I ever made money. So when I made money, it became really, really easy to stick with it.
Yeah, I like what you said about having your back up against the wall. I think that a lot of people don't really know what they're capable of until success is quite literally the only option you have. And to like piggyback on what you were saying, when I was telling you earlier, when I quit my job after doing a month and a half, I was doing at the time $1,500, $2,000 a month, like not much at all. But also I put myself in a situation where it was like, I have to make more or I don't live, right? Like I have to do this. And obviously I'm not saying 15 to 2,000 is non-livable, but if you're trying to live a happy, sustainable life, like that's not going to cut it. And that 15 to 2,000 is not guaranteed the next month. You know what I mean? So it's like,
sure.
Then from that, July point to where I am now, it's just skyrocketed because you have no choice. Either you don't eat or you sign clients and there's no in between.
100%. Dude, so I'm kind of lazy too. Like, I don't know if you can relate to this maybe, but like, are you like, I'm kind of lazy, bro. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Like I haven't always been just like this super disciplined guy. Like I had a lazy side to me. So I can't like have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I either need to burn the boats and go all in on something, or it's not going to happen at all. Are you like the same way? Like, do you kind of have that side to you, or?
Absolutely. There's still a side to it, right? I mean, it's like once you are where a point where you're like, oh man, I'm finally financially, independent. I feel good. Then it's like, if I run my own business and I do stuff for clients and I know that they need this by 5:00, dude, some days I'll sleep until 10. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's like that side of you is always going to be there. But like you touched on earlier, staying disciplined and waking up when you don't want to and getting stuff done because you need to is absolutely key. But man, laziness is, I think everybody's got it. And I don't think that it's healthy right now in the space of entrepreneurship where they're like, get up at 4:00, eat healthy, work out an hour a day and don't go to bed till midnight. And it's like, it's not realistic, man. Like do what's best for you. Figure out a system. One thing that I preach, is like figure out what works. And I have, for me, like I said, I wake up at 10 a.m. But regardless, I know that work is going to be done by 5. That I can go work out. I can hang out with friends. I can see my girlfriend. There's other things where like a lot of people would frown upon that. I think that it's all based on who you are and what your tendencies are. So I like that, bringing up laziness. Like I think that it shouldn't be normalized per se, but I think that people should not feel as bad as they do about themselves for like the lack of work that they're doing, because regardless, if you take a small step every single day towards achieving your goals, like that's a win in my book. You know, some people can get there faster than others, so don't compare yourself, and it's always going to be there. But 100% laziness is there for me, dude. Laziness has always been there. So yeah, I you know, I'll talk a little bit about how I found you. I've mentioned before we got on the call, trying to build my personal brand a little bit. Obviously making these YouTube videos, and a huge part of that is Twitter, trying to get into a good, you know, Twitter strategy and just growing organically. But I ran across you, and honestly, I was just following people that big people followed, and I saw that you were on that list, and your account immediately intrigued me. I see your content all the time. But one of the things I wanted to ask you was, can you talk a little bit about how you've built your personal brand to where it is now on Twitter? I know you mentioned that it's only on Twitter right now, but kind of, you know, talk a little bit about your engagement on there, how you've built a following, and some strategies that you've gotten to get there.
Dude, 100%. I guess I just take like kind of a unique approach with it, you know? Like I tweet what's on my mind. Like I'm not the guy who like schedules a bunch of tweets and writes a bunch of threads and, you know, is trying to like plug my course all the time. Like I just tweet like honest stuff, man. Like I don't even have like my content isn't even all about sales, you know? Like I just believe in being a good person, dude. Like, and doing great things like outside of the workspace too. So like I'll tweet stuff like that as well. And I think people resonate with that, you know? There's like so many of these like kind of scary gurus who are super like alpha male-y and just like dudes that are just not enjoyable to be around, you know? And I've never, like, that's not me naturally. Like I'm a pretty like cool, like I feel like I'm a pretty cool dude. I'm pretty nice. Like I like being kind to people. I like making people feel good about themselves. So I guess my content is just not like, you know, a lot of other people where they're kind of like cutthroat and rude. You know, sometimes I do post some like, I guess, more arrogant tweets like, hey, you know, I closed a deal today and made $750 in an hour, you know, and that obviously gets engagement and stuff like that. But I think it's also just being personal or personable and just showing people that like I'm human, and kind of showing them too that like you can be a good person, but also like pursue a journey of like building wealth and making more money. So I think that might be the reason, but who knows?
Definitely. Yeah, that's unique. I think that more and more people, like you said, resonate with that kind of stuff, especially now where there's such a community of, like you said, cutthroat entrepreneurs that, you know, will post that kind of, I made $750. What have you done today? Every single day, like 3 times a day. And you know, I think it stems from how they were grown up, right? I mean, like I'm a huge advocate for like the people are the way that they are based off how they were raised. And the sad matter of wealth is that a lot of wealthy people were you know, born into a place of, you know, poverty, and so they're like, if you can, you know, if I went through this and you have no excuse kind of thing. But I think while that might be, you know, there is truth to that. There's definitely truth to that. I think that being more personable and building wealth from a nice, you know, nice guy standpoint is, in my opinion, more desirable. You know, there's a lot of people out there that I think you know, associate wealth with, I have to be arrogant, I have to be a douche, like I have to be all these things. It's just simply not the case. And I think, Caden, that me and you have that in common, where I try to preach like, you can be a normal, nice person and go into a gas station and say, hey, my friend, how you doing? And then go back in your, you know, Lamborghini. So, you know, there's different viewpoints on it, but I think that definitely needs to be more normalized. So I'm glad that we're
100%.
talking about it. And I think that strategy that you're using on Twitter is going to continue to blow up, and I wish you all the success in 2023. But that kind of goes into my next point of, what is your plan, you know, for, you know, growing your personal brand in 2023? Is that something that you're prioritizing? Are you going to, you know, switch to different platforms? I think that kind of aids to the side business that you're growing as well. But what's your plan for growing, you know, the Caden Jar brand in 2023?
Yeah, great question, man. So as of right now, definitely gonna hit Instagram and TikTok a little bit harder. I've mainly done Twitter for the past like 4 years. Definitely gonna diversify, just because like TikTok, you can go viral so quickly. And you know, I have a really, really good friend that's in our space, and he's like one of the coolest guys I know. And dude, he's just blown up on TikTok. And you know, it's cool because obviously he's like making money and stuff like that from it. But you know, he's also helping a lot of people because more people are seeing his content. He's like a very legit business figure in this space. So they're following his content and getting results from it. So Definitely gonna hit those two. I don't have like a specific follower goal. I think if you like optimize by followers, like you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. I'm just optimizing by like being me, dude. You know, if being me on Twitter like continues to grow, then so be it. And if it's, you know, if I hit a plateau or start losing followers, so be it too. I didn't want those followers in the first place. So I'm gonna keep it up there. But one thing that I do regret is I've been doing this for almost 4 years now, and I haven't shared a lot of like my physical strategies. I've shared some of them, but you know, you'll probably see me on YouTube as well. You know, showing people how to break into remote sales or high ticket sales, how to, you know, operate on a sales call, how to handle objections, like more valuable things too, just to help people with free stuff. Because again, like I don't need people to buy the group that I have. They can join if they want to, but I still want to be known as a valuable person outside of that too. So definitely growing on TikTok and Instagram. Gonna dip into YouTube as well, and then I'll just keep being me on Twitter, man, and we'll see where that goes.
That's super cool. I think that, first of all, best of luck and everything. I think that the being you strategy is becoming more and more popular. You know, as vlogging is starting to make a comeback on the YouTube space, people want to see a glimpse into, you know, what does Caden Jara do on a day-to-day. And so I think that that's going to be extremely popular, especially if you're adding the kind of value that I know you will. So my last question for you, Caden, is what is your goal for 2023 in terms of what you want to make? What's you know, December 31st comes. This is the mark that you want to hit. What do you got?
So I haven't figured out my goal setting system yet. I'm so in between like setting realistic goals so you have like a good shot at hitting it and then you get that reward. And also like setting goals so high to where like worst case if you don't hit it but you're close, like you're set. Right? Like shoot for the moon, land at the stars kind of thing. So we're going to try the shoot for the moon and land at the stars kind of thing in 2023. I want to make $500,000. Now, I don't know. Yeah. Who knows if that happens? I'm legit going to have my foot on the gas pedal in all areas to be able to do so. You know, I'm very fortunate to where one of the part-time gigs that I'm actually selling for right now is going to be ramping me up into full-time. And with that, you know, I'll be helping manage a team and stuff like that. And there's going to be different like revenue share models there. So dude, I think with closing can be a huge bulk of that if I just play my cards right. So I'll keep you guys updated on that front. I've never made that in a year before. That would literally be ridiculous. I'm going to have to work very hard for it. So we'll see. Again, that's like my shooting for the moon right there. And hopefully we land amongst the stars, worst case. But $500,000 this year, I would love to do that. I want to buy a house. I'm tired of living like the apartment life. I want to just get like a cool house. Here. I want to have a backyard for my dog, man. I want to buy a house, maybe get a cool car too. We'll see. Yeah. I got some other people I want to hook up before I get myself a nice whip. So we'll see. Definitely just hitting that $500,000 a year, buying a house, and you know maybe hooking some people up too. And if I do all that, getting myself something too. Cool.
Awesome. Well, Caden, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you, my man. Everybody that's watching, Caden's Twitter is in the description below, as well as a link to his side business that he's running for high ticket sales. So thanks so much for stopping by, man. It has been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, see you in the next one.
Thank you so much, man.